everybody, Chris Rupp here, music producer and YouTube guy, and I am back with some critical reaction videos, although this is a little different one. I'm going to be looking at one of the old Home Free videos that I was actually in. Today we're going to look at God Bless the USA, and I'm going to give you guys some background to that song, that arrangement, and how we filmed that one 6 years ago, 5 years ago, something like that. It's been a little while. If you want to watch the video ahead of time, please click on the link above me. And as always, sign up on all the social media channels, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Patreon if you'd like to directly support me and what I'm doing here. And I'd love to have you as part of our musical family. All right, enough of that. Let's jump into God Bless the USA. All right, so before we even get started, this one is a special one. This is actually might be the first or one of the first songs I ever arranged for Home Free. When we first started the band back in the early 2000s, we started doing God Bless the USA. And some people would sub in with the band. They'd always kind of groan like, oh, that's a cheesy song. But then we would do it in our concerts and we'd close it out. And Home Free still does this now. And it brings the house down. People standing, cheering, clapping. And actually, they got to recently sing the song with Lee Greenwood himself. So cool. And I'm so proud and glad that we did that track and were able to make this music video. Now, this is one of the very last music videos I did with Home Free before I left. And actually, we shot this the very next day, that next morning, I filmed the final scenes for Moving On, my last video with the band. But after that, though, that was it. So this is special for me, too, to kind of wrap up my time with the band. It was one I really wanted to do before I left because, like I said, this was such a special arrangement for me. So that being said, let's jump in, and I'll keep giving you guys some more insight. All right, God Bless the USA. And for the veterans. Oh, okay. I'm already going to stop it. Sorry. But we are in South Dakota, and obviously you're going to see it's Mount Rushmore in a little bit. And we had bus trouble. Our tour bus had broke down in the night or something. And we were supposed to get there and have half the day or something to shoot, but we barely got there in time. I don't remember the exact timing. Let's say the park was going to close at 7, and we got there at like 5:15 or 5:30. So we only had an hour to race up there and get this thing shot. It was one of the fastest videos we ever did, and kudos to Jimmy and the 5th Gen team at the time for making this thing happen. Unfortunately, it was a straightforward video, just the 5 of us there singing, and so you kind of did our main shots and then our individual shots, and I was able to get it done. But it's also very cold. We did this one in like April-ish. In April in South Dakota at 7 o'clock at night is still quite chilly, and especially with the sun setting. But all right, here we go. There's me.
If tomorrow all the things were gone I'd worked for all my life, and I had to start again.
I still have that belt buckle.
With just my children and my wife.
It was kind of neat too. As we were filming, we'd already cleared it with the National Park Service that we were going to come and do this, and it was fine. So we had a park ranger there. But since it was kind of toward the end of the day, and it was cold out, there were only a couple people that were actually still there around us too. So we were able to film as if it was empty, which it kind of was. So it worked out well in that regard. So a couple people were kind of watching us, maybe off to the side. And the park ranger thought this was the coolest thing ever, having us sing out here like this.
Thank my lucky stars to be living here today, where the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away.
Open up the full perspective. Yes.
To be an American, where at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the man who died, who gave that right to me, and I'll gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
Split up the second verse. I took the Minnesota line since I'm from Minnesota. Tim in Texas, obviously.
From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, oh, from sea to shining sea.
Now that was one of the times that we definitely cheated in the recording. If you listen to that, Tim is still singing the bass line, so we just kind of add an extra part, so it just sounds better. When you're doing these kind of studio recordings, being super accurate with 5 parts only isn't as important as making the sound the best it can be. So yeah, at that point, Tim took over the lead and the bass line.
From Detroit down to Houston and New York to LA, where there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say that I'm proud to be an American.
You see the breath
where at least
coming
I
off
know
our
I'm
faces there,
free,
the cold it was.
and I won't forget.
We got that
the
sunset.
man who died, who gave that right to me, and I'll gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. And I'm proud to be an American.
Adam knew his little drum thing. Snare drum.
And I won't forget the man who died, who gave that right to me. And I'll gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land.
So right there, this is music theory geek time. But Tim's bass line is on the 3rd of the chord down there. Boom, boom. And so we don't want to double the 3rd in the chords, so Rob always went down to the 9. Land. And that's how that chord kind of rang there. And so it's got 4 different notes happening, even though it's just a regular 3-part chord. It's kind of fun. Side geek note for music theory people.
God bless the USA.
Ooh, that's a low, low, low E. Nice. That was fun. That was a great video. You know, we always just joke in Home Free. We toured the Midwest quite a bit pre-sing off days, and we went out into South Dakota quite often. And it seemed like every time we went out there to South Dakota or to Montana, Wyoming, wherever, we always had somebody different that was subbing into the band who hadn't ever been to Mount Rushmore. So over a 3-year stretch or something, we went to Mount Rushmore 7 or 8 times. So I've been there quite a bit, which is kind of funny how that worked out. And every single time, all right, XYZ hasn't gone, let's go. So it's cool to actually do that video there and kind of finish off my Home Free career with that one. So super awesome. All right, guys, thanks for watching with me. I hope you enjoyed this. Like I said earlier, please subscribe. I've got a lot of reaction videos, including a lot of more Home Free behind-the-scenes stuff, as well as my own stuff I produce as well. I'd love to have you see all of that. All right, thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.
America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.